Now, WBOC News at 6, Delmarva's news leader.
That's why today I'm announcing my candidacy for President of the United States.
After months of speculation and anticipation, former Vice President Joe Biden makes it official, jumping into the crowded field of candidates running for president. Good evening. I'm Steve Hammond.
And I'm Todd Carley. Biden made his announcement this morning via social media, and while making no mention of other Democratic candidates, he wasted no time in his criticism of President Trump. Much of the focus of Biden's prepared statement was on Charlottesville, where in August of 2017, a counter-protester was killed at a white supremacist rally. Shortly thereafter, President Trump suggested there were good people on both sides of that incident.
But you also had people that were very fine people on both sides.
Biden was critical of that statement then and again today.
And in that moment, I knew the threat to this nation was unlike any I had ever seen in my lifetime. But if we give Donald Trump 8 years in the White House, he will forever and fundamentally alter the character of this nation.
Biden also mentioned the opportunities available to all Americans, but he said only if that freedom is allowed to flourish.
That's what's at stake in this election. We can't forget what happened in Charlottesville. Even more important, we have to remember who we are. This is America.
Later at the Wilmington train station, when asked why President Obama hasn't endorsed him, Biden said he asked him not to.
Whoever wins this nomination should win it on their own merits.
Biden joins a crowded field of now 21 Democrats vying for the nomination. President Trump took to Twitter to respond to Biden entering the race, saying if Biden makes it through a nasty primary, he'll see him at the starting gate. And tonight, Biden is in Philadelphia for a fundraiser.
And before heading to that event, Biden spent some time in Delaware following his big announcement this morning. WBOC's Tom Lehman joins us live from outside Biden's home in northern Delaware. And Tom, given the delays in the announcement, Biden not wasting much time getting this campaign going.
Steve, Biden left his home here in Greenville not all that long ago, coming right out of that driveway across the street from where we're standing. In fact, our cameras were here as he went up to Philadelphia, again, going to that fundraising event that we just mentioned. Now, Biden's announcement has caused quite a stir among many Delawareans who want to see if the third time will be the charm for Joe. Joe Biden was swarmed by the press as he left the pizza shop around lunchtime. What Biden plans to talk about in the coming weeks and months is something Walter Overton of Dover is excited about.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough race. Right. So, but I like where America's headed and where it's going, man. I think it's going to be a great thing.
Close confidants of the former vice president, like Senator Tom Carper, think Biden will be able to win the Democratic Party's nomination for president by offering to bring the so-called Delaware way to the White House.
That is Joe Biden, willing to compromise on policy, not on principles. And we need people who are like that, are able to build bridges, not walls.
But not everyone thinks another political run by Joe is a good idea.
I think it's time for him to retire and move on.
Former U.S. Senate candidate Rob Arlett, who ran President Trump's Delaware campaign, thinks Biden's long history in politics will come back to haunt him.
I think many people would say that Joe Biden is out of touch of mainstream America because he's never worked in the private sector ever in his entire life. So how can he relate to you and I when he's never done that?
Keep the faith.
Either way, Joe Biden has stirred up a lot of interest in Delaware on his latest bid for the White House. It does not come as a surprise, but Delaware's congressional delegation has endorsed Joe Biden. Of course, that's Tom Carper, Chris Coons, and Lisa Blunt Rochester. Governor John Carney also sent out a message supporting the former vice president on his bid for the White House. Reporting live in Newcastle County, I'm Tom Lehman, WBOC News, Greenville.
All right, Tom, thanks. Even though Biden does have long ties to Delaware, some say his age may pose a problem. At the age of 76, some are concerned Biden may not be able to withstand the demands of the presidency.
But I think that young people are wanting more and more a president that actually is relatable and not necessarily just trying to be relatable to them.
Biden is the second oldest Democrat running after 77-year-old Bernie Sanders.
So where Biden falls on the political spectrum is on the minds of many people tonight. Our Midshore Bureau Chief Amy Liu joins us live from Cambridge. Amy, you found some folks who support him, others who say he's not liberal enough, others who say he's from the wrong party.
Steve, we traveled from Delaware to Virginia to right here in Dorchester County, Maryland, to really get people's opinions on Biden's bid for the 2020 presidential election. Now, as you can probably imagine, the opinions range far and wide. One man even said everyone else in the Democratic primary race could just drop out now that Biden's in it. Others say Biden's moderate stance on politics won't bring real action and change in today's political climate, while others say he's just not moderate enough and doesn't have what it takes to appeal to Republican voters.
We need a wider range of expertise, perhaps. I think he would do an excellent job as president, but I think we need something a little different right now.
Trump has done a lot of amazing things, I think, in the past 2 years, much more than Biden has done in the past 48 years.
Now, we also spoke with plenty of people who say they're really still just on the fence about Biden. They say there are just too many factors and, of course, a lot of time left for Biden to really prove himself a trustworthy and serious candidate in the 2020 presidential election. For now, we're reporting live here from the docks of Dorchester County. Amy Liu, WBOC News, Cambridge.
All right, Amy, thanks. It goes without saying, this, of course, is not Biden's first rodeo in the political ring. His career in politics spans nearly 50 years. Our Chris Weimer joins us now in the Newsplex. And Chris, this will be Biden's third bid for the presidency.
Yeah, Todd, before his first bid in 1988, Biden had already put in 18 years or so as a public servant, a career that began in Newcastle County, Delaware. Joe Biden's political career began in 1970 when he was elected to the Newcastle County Council. 2 years later, Biden launched a long-shot Senate campaign and won, becoming the youngest senator ever elected in America at the age of 30. But Biden nearly stopped before ever getting started on Capitol Hill after his wife and baby daughter were killed in a car accident. Biden considered resigning but stayed the course. Biden went on to serve 36 years in the U.S. Senate for Delaware. Along the way, a failed presidential bid in 1988, when Biden withdrew from the race amid allegations he plagiarized a speech. Biden would try once again, declaring his candidacy in 2007. It was short-lived, as Biden struggled to raise funds and gain traction against high-profile candidates like Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton. Soon after, in 2008, Obama tapped Biden to be his running mate.
Joe Biden!
Obama-Biden won that year, and again in 2012. And now, for a third time, Biden will run for the country's top job once again. That decision to run again has lingered in speculation for several years now after he was urged by his son and former Delaware Attorney General Beau Biden, who died in 2015, to try once again for that coveted chair in the Oval Office.
All right, Chris, thanks. You know, it was in May of 2016, as his time as vice president was starting to wind down before Donald Trump won the White House. I traveled to Washington to interview the outgoing vice president. At the time, he told me he was looking forward to coming home to Delaware. He said he was still going to be involved, but was unsure or not revealing how he intended to do that.
You feel like you've left it all on the field?
Well, yes, I do, but I think I have a lot more to leave on the field, and so I'm going to still be deeply involved in foreign policy and violence against women, and working on issues that concern Beau. And the question is, which forward do I use to do that? But I will continue to do that.
And of course, since then, after much soul searching and polling and seeking of advice, Joe Biden has decided his next step is to run for president. Stay tuned. So to watch Biden's official campaign announcement in its entirety, find it on the WBOC mobile app or head to the Web Extra page on WBOC.com.
All right, outrage over an air quality study. Delmarva's poultry industry is monitoring chicken houses in Maryland. Coming up here, why some say state regulators should step in instead.
And plans to replace a traffic light with a roundabout in one busy part of the peninsula. Hear from neighbors who say it may do more harm than good.